Oh friends, do I have an exciting episode for you or what? Today we are going to talk about poop. Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Wellness Simplified podcast. Simple wellness tips to help you improve your life without turning it upside down. With your host, award-winning fitness instructor, nutrition coach, and wellness expert, Susie Fevens.
Welcome back to the podcast, and thank you for continuing to listen after hearing that intro because, I'm sure a lot of people clicked right back off because they don't want to hear about poop. But kudos to you because you do. I wanted to record this episode because I think there was a few things about poop and bowel movements that a lot of people don't know and really should. So let's first talk about the fact that in 1 gram of feces, there is more bacteria than all of the known stars in our universe. That is a lot of bacteria because bowel movements, poop, is one of our body's main ways of getting rid of waste material. We have that, we have urine, we have sweat. So if you have any pets, cats and dogs specifically, you will probably have noticed, or you may start to notice now, that whenever they poop, they're just so delighted. They just start running around. I know when one of the cats has poop because they come running up out of the basement and they just are like a bullet on fire. Just like they're so light and free. They're just so happy. And that is a really good representation of how our body feels after it gets rid of all that waste product. Now, how often do you poop? Do you even know? Because most people don't even know. So let me ask you this. Do you have a bowel movement every single day or most days? Or do you only have one every other day or every couple days? If you have one every day, do you have just one? Or do you have multiple? And typically, what time of day do you normally have a bowel movement? Has your doctor ever asked you these questions? If you have a naturopath, the answer is probably yes. But if it's just a regular doctor, chances are they've never asked you. And then finally, what is the consistency of your bowel movements? Are they kind of like rabbit poop, like little pebbles? Maybe they're stuck together, maybe they're really soft. Maybe it's more of a sausage shape. Yeah, I know, this can make a person a little giggly. But these are important questions. Because do you know how often you're supposed to poop? Do you know what the consistency is supposed to look like? Do you know what time of day is ideal? Do you know any of those things? Because I don't think we were taught any of those in school. I know I certainly wasn't. I know I didn't have any doctors who ever told me these things. These are all things that I learned through my education and training. But they're things that everybody should know. So let's first discuss the answers to some of those questions and then explain why they are the answers that they are after that. So first of all, you should have a bowel movement every single day. Ideally, you should have 2 to 3 each day. Now, everybody's digestive system is different. Some people's digestive system is a little bit slower, and so they have to be a little bit more diligent in making sure that they are staying hydrated and eating enough fiber in order to have a daily bowel movement. But you should be having one every day. Every day that you eat, you should be having a bowel movement. If you're putting all that food in and nothing's coming back out, it's in there somewhere. When should you have your first bowel movement? Ideally, you would have your first bowel movement of the day within about half an hour to an hour of getting up in the morning without the aid of caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant, so it will actually make you go to the bathroom for most people. So if you have 3 bowel movements a day, but they are all right after you've drank coffee, it's hard for us to know if those are natural bowel movements or if they are expedited because of the caffeine. Anyway, and then ideally you're also going to have a second or a third bowel movement later in the day after every large meal you have. So after lunch and after dinner, because like I said, whatever comes in, something's got to come back out. You're not using every single bit of that lunch. Some of it is waste product and it needs to come on out. So ideally you're looking at 2 to 3 bowel movements a day. But if you're only having one and it's one decent bowel movement, then I would say that you're probably still good. If you're not having a bowel movement every day, though, that's something that we need to work on. And then finally, the ideal consistency of your poop is going to be that sausage-like or snake-like shape that's smooth and soft, or it can still be sausage-shaped. It has cracks on the surface. And now, if you want to know more about the different types of stool, you can just look up the Bristol Stool chart. I'm going to link to it in the description, and it's going to show you the different types of bowel movements, and it tells you what the ideal is. And really, this is something that, again, we should know, but a lot of people don't. I would say that probably mothers know more about it than other people, because who's more interested in poop than a mother of a newborn? But obviously newborn poop is a lot different than adult poop. Okay, so why is it ideal for you to have your first bowel movement of the day within an hour of waking up? Well, because at night, when you're sleeping, your body is taking care of all its business. It is in self-cleaning mode, it's collecting all the trash, it's divvying things up, it's taking care of the things. And then when you get up in the morning, it's like, all right, she's up, let's take the trash out. And that is how your body gets rid of its trash. Through feces, through urine, through sweat, etc. Taking the garbage out. And then obviously after each large meal, because you're eating a whole bunch of food, and then through digestion, the waste products, out it goes. But like I said earlier, if you're only having one bowel movement a day, and that's in the morning, it's a pretty decent one, then you're probably fine. I mean, everybody eats different amounts of food. If you eat a lot of food and you do not have much or any bowel movements, you've got some issues. You've got some constipation going on in there, and you've got some things backed up, and we need to move it out. So why does it matter that we have a bowel movement every day? I have heard doctors tell people, oh, you only have 2 or 3 bowel movements a week? That's fine. That's just normal for you. Just because it's normal for you doesn't mean that it's okay. It might be normal for someone to smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day. Does that mean that it's good? Absolutely not. If you're eating every day, you should be pooping every day. Aside from the fact that you have all that waste material sitting around clogging up your intestines, it's the waste material itself that is problematic. This is how we're getting rid of things. We get rid of excess hormones, especially through our feces. So when we have stuff that's hanging out down there for a day or 2 or 3 or 4 without evacuating, some fun things happen. And I'm saying that sarcastically, because your colon is a semi-permeable membrane, and those hormones that are in the feces, they get tired of waiting around, and they're like, you know what, I'm out of here. And they go through the wall of your colon, they get back into your bloodstream, they go back up through to your liver, and your liver is like, what in the heck? I already dealt with you. I can see that you've been tagged. You've already been through here. I've already tried to get rid of you, and now you're back. So then it's like, all right, well, clearly that's not working, and I need to do something with this extra hormones, estrogen, whatever it might be. Because if I leave it here in my system, in the body, it's going to wreak havoc. So what does it do? Its favorite thing to do when it doesn't know what to do with something. It just sticks it in a couple fat cells. It just says, here, we'll just store this in some fat cells, and it'll be safe. It won't be in the bloodstream. No problem. And then the problem with that is if you habitually don't have regular bowel movements, this happens on a fairly regular basis. body keeps storing excess hormones in fat cells. When it comes time to use the energy stored in fat cells, because that's what fat cells are for, storing energy for later, it's going to avoid those cells that have those hormones in it, because it's like, I don't want to touch that because it's already been a problem. I tried to get rid of it. I couldn't get rid of it. It came back. I've put the hormones in there because there I know that they're going to be safe. And so your body holds on to that fat. It becomes more difficult to get rid of. So what do? Well, you get a better functioning digestive system. You start having daily bowel movements, or having 2 a day or 3 a day, because you've made some dietary changes. You're eating more fiber, you're getting lots of fluids, you're eating in a way that supports a healthy digestion, and then your body isn't storing excess hormones in fat cells because it doesn't have excess hormones, because it tries to get rid of them. It goes to the digestive system, and then it evacuates and they don't come back. And after a while, it realizes, hey, none of these are coming back. So the next time it needs some energy from a fat cell, it says, all right, it's okay. We'll take some from the one that has the excess hormones in it, because we've been doing a good job getting rid of the hormones, the extra ones. They are just leaving. They're not coming back. We don't have to worry about them. We can use those fats, use the fat from those fat cells. Essentially, being chronically constipated can make it harder for your body to use stored fat. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. You need to eat lots of fiber. We're talking soluble and insoluble. One helps bulk up your stool. The other helps move the stool through more quickly. I have a blog post on soluble versus insoluble. I may have a podcast. Either way, I will link in the description so you can check those out. Really, your bowel health is super, super important. The type of poop you're having, how often, when, all that stuff. Super important. Pretend that you are your newborn baby and track your poop for the next week. Just keep a little note in your phone. You don't have to have it on the kitchen table for everybody to see. And just write down in your note the date, the time, and the consistency. And see what you can learn about your own natural digestion. Because you don't know what to change until you know where you are. You don't know where you need to go until you know where you are. So that's today's poop episode. I hope you've enjoyed this. You can check out all those links, like I said, are in the description. And you can find me on Instagram at Susie Confesses, and let me know what you thought about this poopy episode. I will talk to you next week.